for my life. I think the man is pushing 60 and he's got some medical problems and he was having a bit of a funny turn. Maybe he had a bit of food poisoning. Maybe he ate something in the first class lounge that didn't agree with him. Maybe it was some crusty old shrimp or something like that. So yeah, maybe he got some food poisoning or something like that. We just don't know. But what we do know is that he was carted off and played.
In a stunning turn of events that has left the boxing community reeling, legendary heavyweight champion Mike Tyson has reportedly suffered another injury ahead of his highly anticipated fight with Jake Paul. This shocking development has cast a shadow of doubt over the upcoming bout, raising concerns about Tyson's ability to compete at the level fans have come to expect from the iconic fighter.
He's going to be throwing his hands a little bit slower because he's older. He's not going to be able to take the shots like a younger man can. And Mike Tyson is going to go out there, and I still think he's got a potential to knock out Jake Paul. In that first couple of rounds, he's still going to be dangerous. We know the last thing to go is the power. But Jake Paul's in the prime of his life. He's 27 years old, and he's just cherry-picking another opponent to bolster his resume, to make himself look good.
According to sources close to Tyson, the 58-year-old boxing legend sustained the injury during an intense training session. Details about the nature and severity of the injury remain unclear, but early reports suggest that it could potentially jeopardize Tyson's participation in the scheduled fight with Jake Paul. The injury comes at a critical time, as both fighters have been ramping up their preparations for what is expected to be one of the most talked-about boxing events of the year.
It's a shame. It's a sham. It's utter fucking horseshit. Claims to be a fighter, talks about fighting Canelo and all these people and calling out proper fighters that are way past their prime, fighting Anderson Silva, fighting Tyron Woodley when the fight had left him a long time before, fighting Ben Askren, a man that's never thrown a punch in his life, started his career beating up a basketballer. Okay, fair play, he beat Anderson Silva, but Anderson Silva was almost 50 as well by the time that they fought. And now he's going the other way because he lost to Tommy Fury, the one proper boxer that he fought. He lost. So instead of the years of the challenges coming down, instead of the competition getting a bit younger and actually being boxers, they're getting older.
Meanwhile, Alois Jr., a British fighter, believes that Mike Tyson's bout with Jake Paul may get stopped due to health concerns. Given that Paul is 31 years younger than his opponent, there are worries that Tyson might sustain a major injury when they square off. Jr. told TalkSport that he thinks the fight may get stopped to prevent any problems. He said, "I think he may get stopped, to be honest with you. He is just too old. Your body has declined too much at that age. His boxing legacy will suffer if he is halted in such a manner by Jake Paul. I wouldn't want to see that at all, but who knows? He was one of my idols. If the fight ever happens, we don't know. I just wouldn't like to see that." On August 18th, Tyson and Paul are scheduled to give an update on their impending bout during a press conference. Paul is coming into the match fresh off a knockout victory over Mike Perry. Despite worries about Tyson's health as the fight draws near, the 58-year-old remains steadfast in his decision not to withdraw. It will be his first fight since their 2020 exhibition match, which ended in a tie. He previously faced Roy Jones Jr. It appears that most people believe Paul's strength and youthful enthusiasm will tip the scales in his favor later in the year. Nonetheless, Tyson will fancy his chances of taking the throne. The age difference has raised significant concerns among fans and experts about Tyson's safety. Worries that intensified when the 58-year-old had to delay the fight due to a flare-up of an ulcer. Tyson said, "I want to thank my fans around the world for their support and understanding during this time. Unfortunately, due to my ulcer flare-up, I have been advised by my doctor to lighten my training for a few weeks to rest and recover. My body is in better overall shape than it has been since the 1990s, and I will be back to my full training schedule soon." On the other hand, Michael Chandler, a UFC fighter, acknowledges that no one wants to watch Jake Paul take out Mike Tyson. Chandler worries that fans might be disillusioned if the social media sensation secures another victory by stoppage. He said, "Jake Paul fought Mike Perry, who he outweighed by 20 pounds or so and had 4 inches of height on. And now it's Mike Tyson, who is 30 years older. Mike Tyson's about 60 and Jake's about 30. He went on to add, "I love Mike Tyson. Nobody wants to see Mike Tyson get knocked out, but everybody wants to see Mike Tyson catch Jake Paul and knock him out. So I mean, you're going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. It's great for fun, not taking boxing seriously, if you will. Fight night, and I'll probably watch it." Early in his career, Paul defeated former UFC fighters Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren, and Chandler Chandler hinted that he may exact revenge on his fellow mixed martial artists. It was tough to see them both lose. I was pumped to see both of them, but Jake Paul knew exactly who he was picking for these fights. He knows exactly the age, the size, the skill level, he added. Chandler then said, "It has been said by many people that there's only one more Mizzou Tiger that Jake Paul needs to get through, and obviously I'm the smallest one out of them all, so I'm sure he would love to fight a guy who outweighs by 30 pounds. Meanwhile, Mike Tyson has delivered a stunning update on his bout with Jake Paul, hinting at yet another possible health setback. After a previous ulcer flare-up led to a postponement of the fight, Tyson returned to training with a renewed resolve, but it appears that things are still looking bad.
All right, Ted, the other day I saw a picture of you. You were in a wheelchair. What was that all about?
Oh, I have sciatica every now and then. It flares up, and when it flares up, I can't even talk.
However, Tyson Fury, with unshakable confidence, forecasts that Tyson will decisively dismantle Jake Paul in their forthcoming clash. Inspired by the legendary Mike Tyson, Fury is unwavering in his belief that the former champion can achieve victory. In a video recently brought back to light by MMA Read, Fury fervently asserted that when Tyson throws a punch, age is irrelevant. His knockout power remains undeniable. Demonstrating his steadfast loyalty, Fury expressed unwavering support for Tyson in his forthcoming fight against Paul. He emphasized that sharing a name with the boxing legend compels him to back Tyson wholeheartedly. Fury also acknowledged that Tyson has consistently been a source of support for him, and thus he's fully behind Mike, hoping for a decisive knockout victory.
Listen, if Mike Tyson hits anybody, don't care if he's 90, he's going to knock him out cold, isn't he? It's I am Mike Tyson. Obviously, I have to back Mike Tyson. I'm named after the legend, and I back him. As he always backs me. I'm backing Mike for the knockout. Come on, Mike!
The battle has split the boxing community, with many people worried about Tyson's safety. However, Paul is unafraid to challenge the 58-year-old. After beating Perry, he said, "He's tough as nails. I'm sorry it took so long. Respect to Mike Perry. He's the king of violence. He's the BKFC champion. I hit too hard. He took a lot of damage, and that's a W for me. I expected that, but I did put him down in the first round. He just survived. Mike Tyson, your next big boy, sign the contract." Paul spoke with profound reverence for Mike Tyson, hailing him as a towering figure in boxing, placing him in the same legendary realm as Ali. He conveyed the extraordinary privilege he felt at the prospect of stepping into the ring with Tyson, but with unshakable certainty, he also voiced his resolute aspiration to seize Tyson's crown. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Vladimir Klitschko, the former undisputed heavyweight champion, offered his perspective on the highly anticipated clash between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Klitschko called the bout extraordinary, emphasizing the striking contrast between Tyson, a revered veteran of the sport, and Paul, a younger, ambitious YouTuber who has demonstrated considerable boxing prowess. He views this matchup as a major source of inspiration, not just for Tyson, but also for others in his own generation, and voiced his excitement about witnessing how the fight will play out.
Right, Mike Tyson at 58 years old. What do you think of this fight?
Well, that's also outstanding as this fight in Riyadh. Mike Tyson at his age is facing a YouTuber that is much younger and hungry and capable of boxing as well. So it's going to be a good example for people that are at Mike's age.
Yeah.
It's also actually a good example for me to keep on punching, so to speak. Hopefully, I look forward to that match as well.
He heard whispers that Tyson's age was seen by many as a limitation for continuing his career. Yet Klitschko challenged this notion, asserting that age is nothing more than a mental construct, a self-imposed hurdle. He believed that by mastering the mind, we could overcome any challenge. Klitschko encouraged everyone to perceive age as a mere mental barrier and to persist relentlessly, regardless of how many years have passed.
How do you think that fight goes? A lot is being made that, Mike Tyson might be too old for Jake Paul. Obviously, like you mentioned, Jake Paul's coming from a YouTube background. Do you think he's too old? Do you think Mike will still get the knockout?
You can only be too old in your mind.
Yeah.
If you control your mind, you control everything in your life.
Wow, that's great advice. And just final one from me, like you said, Mike Tyson still fighting might be a little bit of a lesson to you as well. Is there any potential of a comeback with a lot of people coming back?
There is no comeback in the sport.
Yeah.
I've been asked about Last Dance.
Anthony Taylor, a fighter who previously faced off against Jake Paul, is now focusing on a showdown with the legendary Iron Mike Tyson. With mounting worries about Tyson's health looming over their upcoming match, Taylor is urging Tyson to take a step back, echoing the prudent decision KSI made to safeguard his well-being. He said, "Mike Tyson is a lamb to the slaughter. He should follow KSI and save himself a concussion against Jake Paul. Mike Tyson needs to take a leaf out of KSI's book and pull out of his fight against Jake Paul. I've worked with Jake behind the scenes, and trust me, you haven't seen what he's capable of. Tyson is a lamb to a slaughter." In the meantime, Tyson's most recent ring appearance was an exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr., which occurred 2 years ago. Prior to that, he had been out of professional boxing for 2 decades, his last official defeat marking his exit from the sport. Recently, Oleksandr Usyk, the reigning heavyweight champion, shared his thoughts with Seconds Out about the upcoming fight. He views it more as a spectacle than a serious competition, and doesn't seem particularly concerned about the result. Usyk said, listen, it just shows Tyson is a big famous man in all the world. Jake Paul is a young guy who want to box, who want to help young guys, but it's a show. It's a big show. If people want to see a show, okay. For me, I think it's okay." The boxing world is abuzz with anticipation for the upcoming showdown between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. As Iron Mike gears up for his rescheduled November match against the YouTube star-turned-fighter, a prominent UK fitness expert has raised a red flag. At 58 years old, Tyson's readiness for this highly anticipated return is drawing growing concern. After Tyson's ulcer flare-up forced a change in the fight schedule, fitness guru Dave Hancock expressed his concerns to OLBG. He said, "Looking from the outside, Mike Tyson's comeback is purely money-driven. If someone's going to offer you X to do Y, you can make a decision whether to do that or not at any age. So therefore, your incentive is cash." Hancock warned Mike Tyson that despite the alluring financial rewards, the potential medical risks were far from trivial. He emphasized that Tyson's age has taken a toll on his reflexes and reaction time, and his physical conditioning is no longer at its peak. He added, "There might be cardiothoracic issues, pulmonary issues, all sorts of issues that you've inherited as you've got older, lifestyle issues. You're not living the same as what you were doing when you were training." Even with the cautions, Hancock, leveraging his experience with Chelsea, Leeds, and the England national team, suspects that Tyson's choice seems driven by irresistible financial temptations. He added, "But at the end of the day, money talks. Going back to the same scenarios about footballers going on end-of-season trips and preseason trips, it's because there are huge amounts of money involved. It's no different for an individual athlete that could get a payday for a one-off bout with a YouTuber." Hancock noted that a £10 million offer is a tough one to decline. He emphasized that with the right expertise, 99% of individuals would find it almost impossible to resist such a generous proposition. Hancock also highlighted that personal financial challenges like Mike Tyson's previous bankruptcy could amplify the allure of a substantial financial windfall, considering his past struggles with money. He concluded, then that might lead to something else and something else. Therefore, all of a sudden, he could be doing something in his 50s and be earning more money than he was in his 20s. After dazzling on the red carpet and mingling with Hollywood's creme de la creme in California, Mike Tyson witnessed Crawford's narrow win against Madrimov up close. It seems Tyson has dispelled some of the doubts surrounding the new date for the fight. He's now readying himself to dive back into rigorous boxing training and is set to kick off his fight camp soon. Tyson immersed himself in the electrifying atmosphere of the night, where Terence Crawford delivered a jaw-dropping win against Israel Madrimov. With effortless charm, Tyson dominated the red carpet, effortlessly posing for photos and engaging with a dazzling array of celebrities, including Scottie Pippen and Vince Vaughn. Tyson was seated ringside alongside promoter Eddie Hearn and the sport's emerging talent, Turki Alalshik. During an exclusive chat with Bloody Elbow, radio host Big Boy, who had recently spent time with the heavyweight icon, suggested that Tyson might be preparing for a comeback sooner than expected, possibly even before November. Big Boy, whose real name is Kurt Alexander, said of Tyson, "I think he's always ready to fight. He was ready to fight tonight. Hell yeah, I would go watch Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. That's one of the Jake fights I would go to. I love Jake. He was so good with my family. I would never say anything bad about that brother." Following his fight with Paul, Tyson was questioned by reporters from Riyadh Season on the red carpet. However, he kept his cards close to his chest, simply replying, "You're going to have to wait and see. You don't have long to wait." After the social media sensation's narrow win against BKFC fighter Mike Perry in a last-minute match last month, Tyson proclaimed that this fight would serve as Jake's wake-up call, stressing that time is running out. Shortly after, Tyson posted a video on social media showing himself glued to the TV, watching Paul in action. Despite not saying anything in the video, the clip went viral, and he followed it up with a message that read, "Countdown begins. 118 days, 16 weeks and 6 days, 17 weekends, 2,832 hours, 169,920 minutes, 10,195,200 seconds. Clock starts now." In an interview with USA Today last month, Tyson's agent Andrew Ruff said that he will resume training soon. "Everything is on track," he said in a positive update for the fight. Mike Tyson is gearing up with unparalleled intensity, ready to demonstrate his iconic skills in jabs, uppercuts, and crosses against Jake Paul. As the eagerly awaited match draws near, anticipation is soaring to a crescendo, with both fighters passionately trading blows in the social media arena. Tyson leapt at the opportunity presented by a recently unearthed video showcasing his remarkable blindfolded maneuver. The unsettling footage unsettled Jake Paul, and Tyson capitalized on the moment by using the clip to launch a stunning master punch from the comfort of his armchair. The precision of his virtual strike was akin to a liver shot, heightening Jake Paul's discomfort. Tyson's intent was clear. He's ready to show no mercy to anyone daring enough to face him. Anticipation is reaching a fever pitch for the upcoming clash, driven not just by the return of Kid Dynamite, the iconic heavyweight legend, but also by the striking age gap between the fighters. At 58, Tyson is set to face off against the 27-year-old Jake Paul. Once a controversial YouTuber, Paul has transformed into a powerful boxer, sharpening his abilities with every bout. At the press conference, Tyson was asked about people's concerns about the age gap. As usual, he answered brusquely. He said, "I don't see too many people critical about it. Look at this crowd. Tell me who has been critical, name somebody. Picture me losing to Jake Paul. I don't see it." And in response to Deontay Wilder's voicing his fear over the fight, he told Esquire, "He's not who I am. Then let Mike get hurt. You don't have to worry about paying my bills. Everyone says this makes no sense, but he's how old? He's not who I am. He can't go to Mongolia and have somebody know who the f*** he is." However, a new training video has surfaced that seems to show Mike Tyson preparing hard ahead of his next fight with Jake Paul. At 58, Tyson, formerly the undisputed heavyweight champion with an impressive tally of 50 victories, 6 defeats, and 44 knockouts, retains an incredible swiftness. Remarkably, his hand speed outstrips that of celebrated world champions like Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, and Terrence Crawford. How does a seasoned legend like Mike Tyson maintain a hand speed so remarkable that even today's top athletes find it elusive? Tyson's unparalleled blend of velocity and force sets a standard that remains a distant aspiration for many of today's heavyweight champions. As Tyson nears his 60s, the idea of him returning to the ring to face a powerful cruiserweight like Jake Paul comes with considerable risks. Check out this newly leaked training footage of Tyson in action. Despite the skepticism of traditional boxing enthusiasts, Jake Paul's formidable punching power, especially with his potent right hand, demands attention. His talent for delivering precise knockout blows is undeniable, as evidenced by his ability to topple opponents across both cruiserweight and heavyweight divisions. Even as he ages and grapples with periods of reduced activity, Mike Tyson's struggle with endurance and chin reliability has been a persistent theme throughout his career. His vulnerabilities in these areas were starkly highlighted in losses to fighters like Kevin McBride, Danny Williams, Evander Holyfield, and James "Buster" Douglas. Let's delve into Tyson's current training regimen and how he's addressing these ongoing challenges. Should Iron Mike Tyson triumph over Jake Paul, it might pave the way for a lucrative showdown, perhaps against a retired boxing icon. With a host of potential challengers from the YouTube universe emerging, Tyson's boxing career could be on the verge of thrilling new prospects. Tyson expressed his excitement for the upcoming fight, brimming with anticipation for his match against Jake Paul. He noted the remarkable strides Paul has taken in his boxing career, highlighting the intriguing juxtaposition between the unyielding drive of a burgeoning star and the refined mastery of a seasoned boxing icon. Tyson said, "I'm very much looking forward to stepping into the ring with Jake Paul. He's grown significantly as a boxer over the years, so it will be a lot of fun to see what the will and ambition of a kid can do with the experience and aptitude of a GOAT." Jake Paul recently opened up about his upcoming clash with Iron Mike, revealing his intense desire to dethrone the boxing icon. Reflecting on his journey, Jake reminisced about the the breakout moment when he knocked out Nate Robinson, a fight that was part of the undercard for a Tyson bout during his second professional match. Now, just under 4 years later, Jake is gearing up to face Tyson directly, fueled by the thrill of battling one of the sport's most legendary figures. Paul said, "It's time to put Iron Mike to sleep. It's crazy to think that in my second pro fight, I went viral for knocking out Nate Robinson on Mike Tyson's undercard. Now, less than 4 years later, I'm stepping up to face Tyson myself to see if I have what it takes to beat one of boxing's most notorious fighters and biggest icons." Paul revealed that his aspirations stretch far beyond this fight, with his sights set on becoming a world champion. He sees his bout with Tyson as a crucial moment to challenge himself against one of the most iconic heavyweight champions in history, calling it a rare, once-in-a-lifetime encounter. He added, "My sights are set on becoming a world champion, and now I have a chance to prove myself against the greatest heavyweight champion ever, the baddest man on the planet, and the most dangerous boxer of all time. This will be the fight of a lifetime." The impending showdown between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul has ignited a flurry of diverse opinions from boxing experts and enthusiasts. Critics suggest that Tyson, whose prime years are behind him, may find it challenging to mount a successful return, while others are convinced that the ex-champion will dispatch the social media sensation with little effort. In an unexpected moment, during an interview with Fight Hub, a reporter seized the chance to get Manny Pacquiao's take on the Tyson-Paul bout. Manny's first response was a mix of shock and disbelief, as he questioned whether a fight was really happening. Once the reporter affirmed the news, Manny immediately inquired if he thought Paul had any chance against Mike Tyson. After a thoughtful pause, Pacquiao responded with a straightforward opinion. He didn't think Paul stood a chance.
Manny, what do you think of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? That fight just got announced. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
They're going to fight, huh?
Yeah, they're gonna fight. Do you think Jake Paul can beat Mike Tyson?
I don't think so.
Mike Tyson has kicked off the countdown to Jake Paul's long-anticipated reality check. Yet, despite the notable presence of such high-profile figures, the buzz from social media about the press event has been lackluster. What's behind the lack of enthusiasm for this powerhouse pairing of Tyson and Paul among fight fans? In the previous leg of the Tyson-Paul press conference, the baddest man on the planet said, "I started Jake off, and I'm going to finish him." In 2020, Paul made his professional debut on the undercard of the Mike Tyson vs. Roy Jones Jr. exhibition, for those who may not be aware. In the wake of his bout with Mike Tyson, Jake Paul has revealed his audacious next step, revealing he has no intention of retiring just yet. Despite having a scheduled match against Tyson this November, the American who transitioned from YouTube to professional boxing is already eyeing another major leap forward in his career. He's 27 years old and intends to win gold in the Olympics in 2028. Paul vented his annoyance, declaring that he's sick and tired of Team USA not winning a gold medal for the country. Speaking on his podcast alongside girlfriend Yuta Leardom, Paul said, "I'm going to enter the 2028 Olympics for boxing in Los Angeles. I'm sick and tired of waiting around, waiting for another gold for Team USA." Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.